This is TWiT.
If you are looking for a midweek update on the week's tech news, I got to tell you, you got to check out Tech News Weekly. See, it's all kind of built in there with the title. You get to learn about the news in tech that matters. Every Thursday, Jason Howell and I talk to the people making and breaking the tech news, get their insights and their interesting stories. It's a great show to check out. twit.tv/TNW.
So I wanted to mention, because this is in the news, in the technology, that the TikTok banning has continued. Texas has now joined the ranks. And I was going to say that Texas was the latest, but that was yesterday. So who knows what's happened since then. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has banned the use of TikTok on the devices of state employees, and in doing so becomes the fourth, happens to be Republican-led state to ban TikTok on employee devices. That follows Maryland, South Carolina, and South Dakota. Remember that last week it was South Dakota that I noted was first, with their Governor Kristi Noem saying that she hoped other states would be following suit. I guess her wish is coming true. Greg Abbott also ordered state agencies, this was interesting, to come up with plans to govern the use of TikTok on state employees' personal devices not owned by the state.
Good luck. Can't do that. That's just,
yikes.
That's just performative. You can't do that.
Yeah. He wrote in a letter to state agency leaders that there are, quote, growing threats posed by TikTok to the state's sensitive information. Quote, TikTok harvests vast amounts of data from its users' devices, including when, where, and how they conduct internet activity, and offers this trove of personally sensitive information to the Chinese government. Okay, but wait, there's more. Indiana's attorney general brought a pair of lawsuits against TikTok, accusing the company of deceiving users by claiming that their data was protected from the Chinese government and for exposing Indiana children to adult content. The lawsuits claim that the Chinese-based social media giant has deceived and harmed Indiana residents. Indiana's first lawsuit alleges TikTok has marketed its video sharing platform as safe for teens, even though its algorithm, quote, serves up abundant content, unquote, depicting drugs, sexual content, and other inappropriate themes. The second lawsuit asserts that TikTok has deceived consumers by suggesting their personal information is protected from the Chinese government and the Communist Party. So the Attorney General said in a statement, the TikTok app is a malicious and menacing threat unleashed on unsuspecting Indiana consumers by a Chinese company that knows full well the harms it inflicts on users. With this pair of lawsuits, we hope to force TikTok to stop its false, deceptive, and misleading practices which violate Indiana law. So the Attorney General is asking for emergency injunctive relief against the company and is seeking monetary penalties for every time TikTok violated Indiana's Deceptive Consumer Sales Act. Wow.
How do you violate a sales act if it's free?
Yeah. I was wondering if maybe there was something I had missed. So I have it in the show notes. I'm not going to drag our listeners through it, but Kaspersky has a very useful, factual, piece-by-piece walkthrough. And the upshot is there is no smoking gun here. There's nothing that TikTok is doing that any of the other social media platforms, most notably Facebook being the largest, and here in the U.S., isn't also doing. I thought, okay, what's on the other side of this? How about a balanced look? So I found some coverage that NPR offered from less than a month ago about the FBI's raising of concerns, which apparently is what started all of this, over what TikTok might be capable of doing. And what's interesting is the quotes from FBI Director Christopher Wray during a Homeland Security Committee meeting. So NPR's story says the FBI alleges TikTok poses national security concerns, right? It's a concern. So NPR says the head of the FBI says the Bureau has national security concerns, and that they even quoted that, about the U.S. operations of TikTok, warning that the Chinese government could potentially use the popular video sharing app to influence American users or control their devices. Gee, like what? Facebook? Like Twitter? Like everything, right? Anyway, sorry. FBI Director Christopher Wray told a House Homeland Security Committee hearing about worldwide threats on Tuesday, this was the middle of last year, it was like the 17th, I think, of November, that the FBI has, quote, a number of concerns, unquote, just days after Republican lawmakers introduced a bill that would ban the app nationwide. How do you do that? Okay, anyway, Wray said, this is sounding like, right, some other country we talk about somewhere else. Wray said, quote, they include, the concerns, that is, include the possibility that the Chinese government could use it to control data collection on millions of users or control the recommendation algorithm, which could be used for influence operations if they so chose, or to control software on millions of devices, which gives it an opportunity to potentially technically compromise personal devices, unquote. And then NPR reminds us, TikTok, which hit 1 billion monthly active users in September 2021, is owned by the Chinese company ByteDance. Chinese national security laws can compel foreign and domestic firms operating within the country to share their data with the government upon request. And there are concerns about China's ruling Communist Party using this broad authority to gather sensitive intellectual property, proprietary commercial secrets, and personal data. Blah, blah, blah. So, concerns. And based on concerns and China and communism, what we see, to my reading, is a bunch of grandstanding by governors and attorneys general who want to make a big deal about this because it's owned by a Chinese company. We've seen misbehavior on the part of our domestic firms who are looking at things that they shouldn't. There was some BuzzFeed News had some audio, because I spent some time digging into this, wondering what the heck. There was some audio that BuzzFeed News found of some TikTok employees clearly looking at the data of some TikTok users, much like Facebook has been caught looking at their own users, and Twitter was caught doing the same. So anyway, to me, this looks like a bunch of nonsense. We'll see where it goes. I would be surprised if we end up with legislation banning TikTok.
Did Kaspersky go into what information TikTok knows about you? Because that's, I guess, the fundamental question. There's two parts to this. A, is TikTok giving information? Let's assume the Chinese government has a pipeline into ByteDance. That's a big assumption, but let's assume they do. Is TikTok gathering, what kind of information is it gathering from my phone that it's sending to the Chinese government? That's problem number one. And then problem number two is people say, well, they could use the algorithm to propagandize us, to convince us of something, which is legit, although the Chinese government is not unhappy to use Twitter and Facebook and YouTube
right.
to do that as well. They don't really have to have some other way to do it. But what did Kaspersky say about is it any different from any other app on the phone?
No. Kaspersky directly addresses the question of privacy concerns. They wrote, one of the most viral aspects of TikTok has been privacy concerns, with questions like, what data does TikTok collect? And does TikTok steal your information? Regularly circulating online. They wrote, like many other social networking platforms, such as Facebook, TikTok collects a lot of information about its users. This includes every TikTok video watched and for how long, the entire contents of every message sent through the app, since messages are not encrypted, the user's country location, internet address, and type of device being used. And with the user's permission, TikTok also captures its user's exact location rather than just their IP address, their phone's contacts and other social network connections.
But you have to give them that because
to build a graph.
It's always
right?
asking for my contacts, and I always say no. And I think I'm assuming that Apple blocks it if I don't say yes. I mean, that they're not sneakily underhanded.
Oh, I bet Apple would.
Yeah.
And finally, their age, phone number, and payment information. Yeah. Again, if you say like yes, if you allow it.
Unless you say you're 98 and you live in Muncie, Indiana, which you could.
Yeah. So Kaspersky says this information can be used to assemble a detailed profile for advertisement targeting by understanding who its users are, who their friends and family are, what they like and find entertaining, and what they have to say to their friends. To use the app, users grant access to their microphone and camera. If they create videos, the app captures close-ups of their face.
And by the way, again, you have to do that only if you're going to use it to create videos. I don't. I use it, and most people don't. They use it to look at videos.
To watch.
And every time it says you want the camera access, I say, no, you can't. No, I don't want you to have that. So that, again, that's something you turn on.
Right. So they said potentially this provides biometric data which could be used in conjunction with other images which exist online. TikTok also uses technical measures to encode its activity. This means that some of what it does is hidden from external researchers, which all the apps do. TikTok says this is to disrupt hackers and other malicious actors. There's been extensive media coverage of TikTok privacy concerns. However,
think how mad we'd be if TikTok was sending all that information in the clear. That's not good either.
the way all of our web pages used to be once.
Right, yeah.
And Kaspersky said, however, most social media platforms worldwide collect, use, analyze, and ultimately profit from users' personal data. TikTok argues that it collects less data than platforms such as Facebook or Google, since it does not track user activity across devices. So, again, to me, this is all just, the FBI saying, well, we have concerns because maybe, quote, an opportunity to potentially technically compromise personal devices. Right. Because you loaded an app. All apps have that opportunity to potentially technically compromise personal devices. Anyway, to me, this is protectionism, right? It's xenophobia and protectionism and an opportunity for, so far, it's all been Republican political people.
It's performative.
To say, the commies are going to get our kids.
Yeah.